don't think as much as I like Ambrose, I don't think he's title ready yet.
I think, well, they need to put him in something besides putting like the Intercontinental Championship on him or the United States Championship. Which, don't get me wrong, they're okay in their own right, but it's like he deserves more because he's a way better person. Like, he cut the better promos while he was a part of the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
He cut the better promos when he was facing Seth Rollins. He was cutting the better promos whenever he was, doing all of his work.
I remember when right after Rollins turned heel, I remember watching this promo from Ambrose, and I have it memorized to a fucking T.
Exactly, and he like just goes crazy, and he totally forgets to pass the mic to Roman, and I was like,
he
no,
just dropped it, and then like Roman's like, I want it.
Exactly, and I was like, no, Roman, put it back down.
Roman,
I don't need
don't.
this crap.
Oh my god! So remember they were trying to make him into the funny guy.
Yeah.
For a while? Because remember on Raw, I think it was like, I thought the Irish had potatoes. Looks like you're smuggling tater tots. And he does that stupid laugh at the end too, exactly like that.
Yeah.
And then no one fucking cared. It was the dumbest thing in the world. And going back to what we were saying, now that he's a badass, people like him now.
Yeah, exactly.
It took them that long to figure that out.
Exactly. Like, believe it or not, wrestling needs that Super Cena type to where they're just, they destroy everybody. They need that person because either the adults need someone to hate because he's over so much, and the kids need someone to love because, let's face it, what kid doesn't like a superhero?
Yeah. Like, there are a lot of people who identify with people. Like, my mom, she's a bigger woman, so, like, when she saw Nia Jax, she immediately liked her.
Exactly.
She immediately liked her. Like, I like her. She's big. And people like that. People like guys like El Torito or Rey Mysterio or the small guys because kids are small. They are small. So people want to, they want to project themselves as well. Like, they want to be superhero types, so they give people like Cena or Austin or now Reigns because people want that whole deal of, like, I can overcome these things.
Exactly, yeah, and personally, I really love, growing up, I was a Jeff Hardy fan, a CM Punk fan, now I'm a Dean Ambrose fan, because they're kind of the unhinged people that, they get away with everything, and they're kind of like, they live by their own rules type of thing, and, kids like me growing up, I looked up to guys like that.
Yeah. I remember the first time I watched wrestling was January 2009. I remember it distinctly because it was in Chicago, where I'm from. I didn't go because I didn't know what the fuck that was. And so, remember, that was the night Randy Orton kicked Vince McMahon in the head.
Oh, wow.
And since then, I've always been like, I'm a heel guy because the bad guys do cool shit.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I became a wrestling fan. I started watching, it was the Undertaker and Edge feud. The last time Undertaker had the belt, it was versus La Familia.
Oh, okay.
And it was great, and I loved it so much because of the fact that, I was just on the edge of my seat because Edge and Undertaker were both two really good workers, and they worked their butts off, and you believed it whenever Edge speared him. You believed it whenever Edge put him through 2 different tables at TLC. I mean, the whole "you're gonna retire" angle was kind of stupid, but whatever.
Yeah, I really thought that it was gonna be the end when Lesnar broke the streak.
Yeah,
I remember being very upset about that at the time because I felt like the streak was just like, oh, it's a thing he does. Like,
yeah.
Oh, we can see who gets close enough. And then Brock, I remember having this memory of, not wanting to go to school the next day. I really didn't want to go to school the next day because I just didn't want to deal with people after my heart was just shattered.
Exactly. I was kind of the same way whenever Undertaker so quote unquote retired after TLC. One of my things was, I remember one of the first storylines I ever was really a part of, and I hate myself for it. It was the whole Hornswoggle is Vince McMahon's bastard child angle. And I remember watching it. And this is back in the days of MySpace to tell you how old back this was. And I remember there was a Hornswoggle fan page, but I didn't know it was a fan page. I thought it was seriously him. And of course, when you're little, you always think wrestling's real. So Vince McMahon before Raw shut off was like, oh, we're gonna fire Finley, and I devised this whole story plot of how to save Finley's job, and I sent it to this guy. There's probably some guy devouring Cheetos, 400 pounds in his mom's basement. What the hell is this 12-year-old sending to me?
Yeah, I used to think it wasn't. I used to be on MySpace to look up wrestlers to be friends with them. I wouldn't friend them unless they used their real life names. I wanted to friend Triple H, but I wouldn't friend him unless he said Paul Levesque. I don't think I should have been given a MySpace as a kid.
Yeah, no, not at all. Which, by the way, since we're on this match, my new favorite tag team is Big Cass and Alonzo
Enzo.
And
What the
Enzo,
fuck?
Enzo, I'm sorry,
Alonzo
I'm
was
not
the guy I had
Italian.
my creative writing class. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, I am sorry. I am sorry. I guess I'm soft.
You're real soft.
I'm real soft. Which, by the way, I was looking up some WWE news before I came in here, and you know, we may be fans of Ring of Honor and New Japan, but I just read that a lot of people from the Bullet Club may be coming to WWE, which that would be amazing.
Oh yeah. But I heard an argument that people were like, the average age between all of them are 35 years old.
Which, I mean, it makes sense. AJ Styles has been in the business for a very long time, which he's still great. I watch his matches now with New Japan and Ring of Honor, and they're really good matches, even for his age. And plus, like, many times age shouldn't really come into a factor when you're a wrestler. I mean, look, John Cena's 40. He's still doing the same spots he did whenever he was Word Life. It's your basic thugonomics Cena. But, like, he's still doing the same thing. So I think many times whenever wrestling does become a factor, like, sometimes age comes into it, like Vince McMahon trying to say, you know, to Roman, like, oh, you know, there was a time where I used to beat an apology out of you. It's like, bro, you're 70, Roman Reigns would eat you for breakfast.
Yeah. I think age is, like, not a really huge component in a lot of things, but it's the reason why a lot of people have stopped. Obviously. So, like, let's say a guy like Dave Bautista. Dude is still fucking in shape, but wrestling-wise, he's not, like, great.
Exactly. I was rewatching some of his matches that I watched as a kid, because I remember I would watch him versus The Undertaker, or his whole thing versus Edge, and he's an okay wrestler. He wasn't great. Also, I realized how stupid his belly button tattoo is, if you ever go back and look.
Batista's?
Yeah. He has, like, the weird sun around his belly button.
Doesn't Rey Mysterio have the same, like, around his, like, his shoulder, isn't it? He has the same tattoo.
or something like that. Who knows?
I think it's the same size. I think Rey Mysterio was just that small.
Probably. Who knows?
But anyway, my favorite tag team, that's hard for me to choose because I love Enzo and Cass because of their charisma and all that. But Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, holy shit. They fucking knock it out of the fucking park every single time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, well, if we're talking greatest tag teams of all time, of course, teams come to mind, you know, like the Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys. But then, oh God, I'd have to say one of my own personal favorites is whenever they were doing the whole one night stand pay-per-view type of thing, and it was the tag team match with Edge of Mankind and, God, people are gonna slaughter me for saying this, but I can't remember.
One night stand?
Yeah, it was one night stand.
It was Edge and Mick Foley with Lita versus Tommy Dreamer, Terry Funk, and Beulah.
Yeah, exactly. That to me stands out as one of the greatest tag team matches of all time.
One of the greatest hardcore tag team.
One of the greatest hardcore. I really wish that they had that tag team continue. I mean, I know falling 30 plus feet into a table kind of shortened Mick Foley's career a little bit, along with a lot of other things. You know, I have a feeling
his existence.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if I lost an ear, I wouldn't want to wrestle anymore.
Lost an ear, swallowed a tooth, and spit out his nose.
Exactly, and also been put through a table, put through a cage. You know, it happens.
It happens to the best of us, really.
Yeah, really.
Poor Damien Sandow.
Oh God, yeah.
I knew for a fact, and just to give some. If you can't see the video or whatever happens, just to give us some context, we're playing the 2K16 game and we're just kind of going through some guys and Damien Sandow just came up. Poor Sandow, I knew for a fact after he split from The Miz, like before they split, I knew if he was going to split, nothing would happen with him.
Exactly, and they should have, I remember the Battle Royal to where they split and they gave it to Big Show and it's like, no, give it to Sandow. How they should have done it is they eliminated the Big Show and then Sandow eliminated the Miz, because then he just got buried, and then and they're like, oh, he's Macho Mandow now.
Macho Mandow. That didn't. No, that was. I think I liked it more than I should have because it was simply it was Damien Sandow, and I did like Damien Sandow.
Exactly. Damien Sandow's great, but he always just gets buried. Like whenever he was the smart guy, like that was cool. But whenever he was the Miz's stunt double, it was cool, and he was almost ready to go and do his own thing, but then of course, WWE had to bury him.
Didn't they make him the first guy to cash in and lose Money in the Bank? He was the first one, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
No, that was Cena. Cena was the first one because it was against Punk.
Yeah.
And that was the whole WrestleMania 29 season kind of deal, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
But with Cena, a guy like Cena can lose Money in the Bank and he wouldn't like be affected. It wouldn't affect his career.
Yeah, definitely.
Sandow lost and he went nowhere since then.
Exactly.
I think his high point was being the stunt double for Miz, which sucks. I've always liked Sandow because I used to like his intelligence gimmick. I don't know why.
Exactly.
Again, like heels, I just have a thing for heels. I think they're really
Well,
awesome.
well, I think you get to that certain point in your life to where you really just like heels.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, but it seems like they always have intelligent guys as heels, like Matt Stryker, like Damian Sandow, like
the Brain.
like the Brain. You know, because look, there's plenty of educated people who like wrestling. Me and Alex are in college. We still like wrestling because of the fact that it has great storylines. It makes you think. Because every now and again, they do have a really, really good storyline that makes you want to, watch and listen and see what they have to say.
With that, the last time I felt that was anything with Bailey and Sasha Banks.
Oh, yeah. Bailey, even though she's one of the most put over women in wrestling and she looks like a 16-year-old sometimes.
I love that. Not in a pedophile way. I'm just saying, like, as terms of a gimmick. I think that's fucking great.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, I love her entrance. I love the wacky waving arm inflatable two men.
If you fucking say that 10 times fast, anybody, I fucking dare you.
Exactly. Like, I love all that. Like, I love the cheesy gimmicks of wrestling. Hell, I watched TakeOver London, and I see Finn Balor, and he customizes his demon face paint now, and it's great.
Like Jack the Ripper?
Yeah, he put Jack the Ripper on there, and at first I didn't get it, because I was like, isn't he Irish? But then I was like, oh wait, the pay-per-view's in London.
Like,
but,
where Cass had, like, the overalls on, but then, like, he took it off, and, like, on the overalls was, like, the London flag or something like that.
Yeah, and plus I love the fact that like soft is now in my vocabulary, which by the way, if we're talking about wrestling tattoos here for a second, like what is up with Enzo's tattoos? They're just kind of all over the place. I know like some wrestlers don't like to get tattoos because they're like, well, what if my character changes and this and that? But like with him, he just kind of said screw it and then got whatever the damn well he felt like.
Yeah.
But the one thing I do feel bad about with some wrestlers is their hair. Enzo has to go into public looking like that.
I think Enzo doesn't give a shit.
Solid point, actually.
You think a guy who dresses like that on TV gives a shit about what people think about his hair?
I have to say yes, but it's just so crazy to see like like people like him, people like the Ascension. Whenever I think they cut their hair at one point to where it looked really freaky.
I'm trying to think. I remember seeing the Ascension like when they debuted in NXT. Their gimmick is
they're like conspiracy theorists or something.
No, they were like this weird like I have to show you. But they are these guys who like they stand on like hologram cities and it's like the destruction of mankind is here, and then they come out in like these big giant fur things that will make Tyler Breeze jealous. It's really weird. And then they evolve to like the fucking Legion of Doom.